Hey, what's up, guys? This is Dave with Tactical Hyve here, and today we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about one of the three methods we teach, actions upon entry. We're going to talk about deliberate pieing of the door. This being deliberate, we are not in a rush. Where we would use this in most terms, you can deliberately pie any door you want. I would use this form as if the wall stops bullets because I'm going to be using this for cover and concealment. Or if we say, I'm only by myself, I'm pieing every door because once I get hit, the gig's up, so I'm gonna hold off a little bit. So a couple of things we're gonna do when we come up to the door. This is actions upon entry. We're talking deliberate pieing. I'm gonna come up to the door. The first thing I'm gonna do is get diminishing returns. When I get diminishing returns, what that term means is I'm getting as flat as I can against this wall to see as deep as I can into that room. So I want to see as deep as I can into the room. Then I'm using the far side fulcrum. So I'm focusing on this side. When I'm going to step off to start my pie, I'm going to literally step off and switch my focus to the near side here. So now I'm focused on this near side and I'm using this as my pivot point or fulcrum. Whichever one makes it easier for you to remember, I'm using the near side as my pivot point or fulcrum to pivot around. All right, so I'm going to use the near side. Getting my diminishing returns, I'm gonna get as close as I can to this wall to see as deep as I can in that room. Furniture could be in the way or something, but I'm still gonna try to get as close as I can to see as deep as I can. Then I'm going to switch my attention from the far side to the near side and use this as a pivot point or fulcrum point to pivot around on this door, using this as my cover and concealment because it stops bullets, or I'm by myself, or it's nighttime and I have the element of surprise. So I'm gonna come here and then I'm gonna pivot off. And now I'm going to pivot off. I'm going to be at the depressed muzzle. With every step I take, I'm going to literally slow my steps down and I'm going to pie it off slowly. I'm going to try to take small steps because I want to be able to shoot or deal with anything I hit when I hit a spot. So I don't want to take a step here and start changing elevations because anywhere in there is going to be harder for me to shoot. So I'm going to make my steps smaller so the elevation doesn't change as much. Every step I take now, I have to change my angle on this door. So a couple of ways we can do it. We could think of taking our groin as our center point, and with every step, changing on the door. Or we could take our lead foot, whether I'm going left to right or right to left. And with every step, I'm taking my lead foot and pointing it at my pivot point to keep me in line. Now I got my diminishing returns. I switch from the far side to the near side, and now I'm going around. I'm going to take my time to get all the way around this pivot point. If you find yourself where you got sucked into the door and you're a little bit too close, there's nothing saying you can't take a step back to get out of the fatal funnel. At this point, I'm getting diminished returns on this side, and then I'm going to set up an attack angle for ease of entry into the door. A couple of key points on that is making sure you stay on this fulcrum point. If I use the far side or don't stay on the fulcrum point, what happens is as I move, it's uncleared space here. So I need to stay there. The next key point of that is being at the depressed muzzle because I'm already behind the power curve if I see a guy in there. So I don't want to have to gun this low and have to do this big jerk. I want it to be here, so all I have to do is this. The next piece is making sure we get the diminishing returns. We have to get diminished returns on this side, and if it was important to get it on this side, might as well do it on the other side as well. Then you set up an attack angle. Now, a couple of things about this attack angle. When I get to my attack angle, it doesn't have to be one thing where I get attack angle and I dive. No, it's attack angle, get here, diminish returns, attack angle, and now we go. Okay? So that's about it for the whole pieing deliberately. We'll talk about some of the footwork to enter the doorway after you do this pie. Okay, so now that I've gotten to this point, now we're going to cover the footwork to go enter the room. We talked about actions upon entry. So we have got the action of the deliberate pieing. Now we need to enter. So entering the room, I set up my attack angle. Now a couple of things. Because we completely pied the door, I don't have to go step center on this door. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go outside, inside foot, and forward. So I'm going to go outside foot, inside foot, forward. So whether I'm going left or right side, what I'm going to do is go here, outside foot, inside foot, forward to get out the way. Because my two-man is going to be on my back. So I need to make sure I do not do a hang up in the door. What I mean by hanging up in the door is this footwork. Outside, inside, step, and then forward. So I don't want you to do that in the door, because if in a perfect world, by tactics, we want the two men to be in the room as simultaneously. In the real world, we go in back to back if we could, but we can't because the door frames aren't that big. So what we're going to do is go in to close to simultaneous as possible. So that's how close he is to me. So if he's that close and I do anything other than that in the door, the steps, we're going to run into each other. Well, I hope you like the content. This is Tactical Hyve. Like and subscribe. Dave, I'm out.